All right, switching gears a little to the Steelers here. What do you think happened? I mean, why? What is there something wrong with Tomlin and Munchak? Do they not get along? What do you think it is? Why wasn't he even in the mix here? Was it money? Does he not want to come back to the Steelers?
That's not what I heard. I heard that they were talking to Tom Cable, too, the old Raiders head coach, who went back there and was the O-line coach for them and had been a great O-line coach with Seattle. We're talking about paying an offensive line coach more than $1 million for the high-end guys, Mike Munchak included. Fittipaldo said today that when he was at the Senior Bowl, he talked to Steelers people who were hopeful that Munchak would return to Pittsburgh. The bottom line, Richie, appears to be this. Matt Canada does not have a good reputation right now. And he bounced around all those college jobs. He spent 1 year as the quarterback's coach for the Steelers until he was promoted. My understanding of things is that, the Steelers are willing to pay a little bit more for assistant coaches, but none of these guys want to come here and work for Matt Canada. And so the two coaches that they've hired so far on offense, the wide receivers coach worked with Matt Canada at NC State, so there's a relationship there. And I don't think this guy, Pat Meyer, had another opportunity. He had been fired by the Panthers unceremoniously, was awful there this year. And so he could have latched on as an assistant offensive line coach somewhere, Richie. But this was really his only shot to be an offensive line coach. And this Canada thing is shaping up to be a disaster based on what I'm hearing, that they really did not have a great field or pool of candidates because a lot of people don't want to work for the guy or with the guy.
Why do you think? I mean, attitude, personality.
I mean, you've heard the rumors about him, right? He's not an easy guy to get along with.
Yeah.
There you go. Yep. I mean, Todd Haley had a little bit of that, but guess what? Todd Haley had been a head coach in the NFL. He was a successful offensive coordinator with our boy Larry Fitzgerald in Arizona. The guy's dad, he was a Steelers ball boy. He worked, in the NFL really his whole entire life. Matt Canada, this is his second year. He can't, give marching orders, and he can't be a tough guy to get along with. He doesn't have the resume to command that kind of respect to tell people what to do. I really think, the more I look into it, Richie, I think that's why Chris Morgan left. I think the Steelers probably just assumed that Chris Morgan was going to be their offensive line coach, and then he went and took the Chicago job. Didn't you think that was weird? Didn't you think that was fishy?
Yeah.
When Morgan left for another job?
I don't want to go so inside baseball here and try to judge an offensive line coach. But when you look at his track record, he was with the Bears 1 year, didn't make it there, and went to Buffalo to be an assistant offensive line coach. Had an opportunity with the Chargers, had one good year where his offensive line was ranked, I think, 5th. And then goes on to the Panthers after that. 2 mediocre years. I mean, I don't remember too much, but like I said, I can't go too much inside baseball here to try to evaluate this guy, but it's a guy that was on the street. It wasn't a guy you went and got.
Yeah, well, it just seems to me, Pat Meyer, I've heard some people tell me, he's got great attention to detail. He's very thorough. The stuff that goes on in the film room to get offensive linemen ready, he's very good at that. Looking at tendencies from defensive linemen and pass rushers and figuring out ways to beat those guys. There's a place for somebody like that in the NFL, but he's not Mike Munchak, and he's not even Tom Cable. So or Russ Grimm back in the day. Mm-hmm. So what I'm saying is the Steelers' desire to go out and hire somebody like that was mitigated by the fact that Matt Canada does not have a great reputation. Now, I had somebody else tell me, because I asked him, what's wrong with this guy? Is he that big of a jerk? Another thing I heard was, these offensive line coaches, a lot of the time, Richie, they want to have the run game. They want to, pretty much dictate what the running plays are, pick the run plays. Munchak did that a lot. These are the run plays we're going to use. These calls in these situations. I guess Canada didn't let Clem do that. Now, maybe he felt like Clem was in over his head because he had come from college too, really, and did not have extensive NFL experience. But I don't know. We get on Tomlin for not letting the defensive coordinator do his job It sounds like Canada doesn't really let a lot of these offensive assistants do their job, Richie.
Yeah, and outside of quarterback, this is the biggest position of need for the Steelers. I mean, it's a work in progress. I mean, they're going to, in my opinion, I think they should draft an offensive lineman in the first round. But we'll see what happens there. All right.
I mean, do you trust Canada? You believe in him, Richie? You loved him at Pitt for 1 year.
Yeah.
What do you think? You believe in this guy?
No, I don't believe in him because I feel like nothing, and I don't know if it was Ben, if it was a combination of all these guys. It was like common sense when you sat and watched games, like, what are you doing on certain plays? They always found a way to put themselves in bad positions, and they would call the oddest plays. So, to me, that responsibility falls on the offensive coordinator. But I understand that maybe Ben was calling some of these plays too. Maybe you give him a pass. I was just really surprised, and I know we have to go to break here, but I was really surprised how Mike Tomlin just had his back right from the start. There wasn't even a question and let it linger a little bit, like maybe we should reevaluate this offensive coordinator position now that Ben's gone. But no, he gave him basically said he was our guy from the beginning, the last press conference of the year. So, all right, we got to take a break. Back with your phone calls, 412-575-2600.